What's up, you guys? Danger Rock here. Today I'm going to be doing another Toy Story review because today we're going to be looking at the Toy Story Buzz Lightyear Infinity Edition. Now, this guy came out around sometime, I think it was 1995 or 1996, after the release of the original Toy Story. And he looks very similar to a 1995 Buzz Lightyear, but he does have some added features. I found this guy at an eBay auction, and I thought, why not add another good old 90s Buzz Lightyear to my collection? Now, this is one I have not reviewed already. This is one that I had just recently purchased. And I've actually noticed some interesting things about him. Taking a closer look at the figure, his face sculpt looks very similar to 1995 Buzz Lightyear. His helmet is fully retractable. Another thing I noticed, which is interesting, is he has these screws right here inside of his helmet, which is something that I did not see on the 1995 Buzz Lightyear. Now, this guy actually would have came with the certificate of authenticity, which I don't have because I got him loose. He had very similar package and everything. An added feature on this guy that mine didn't come with, unfortunately, was a missile launcher, which would plug right into his back here. So that's the first thing that's really interesting. So these were made by Thinkway Toys. You can see the Disney Thinkway logo right here. Just like the 95 Buzzes, he has lots of screw holes on the back of them, which is really interesting. Another thing this guy has is a wrist communicator, which is something the intergalactic Buzz Lightyear actually had. When I press it, though, it does not make any sound, which is interesting because this guy does work.
To infinity and beyond.
His laser works. His buttons work.
I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace. I'm stationed up in the Gamma Quadrant of Sector 4.
So interestingly enough, that's the only phrase I noticed that the 95 Buzz does not have. What was interesting, though, was the intergalactic Chrome Buzz Lightyear did have that phrase.
I protect the galaxy from the threat of invasion. I come in peace. To infinity and beyond. I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace. I'm stationed up in the Gamma Quadrant of Sector 4. I protect the galaxy from the threat of invasion. I come in peace.
And this big red button would eject his wings. It doesn't work on mine because there's a spring loose in there, which is somewhat unfortunate. But I think it's really interesting how some of the later versions have the wrist communicator, but this was never a main feature of the original. What this figure really does for me is, I like all the good old articulation it has. You can open his helmet. You can rotate his head all the way around if you wanted to. Arms go up and down. They bend at the elbows. Swivel at the wrists. And he does have that odd one-finger articulation, which is something all the 95 Buzzes had for some reason. His waist swivels all the way around. Legs kick outward pretty far. He has ratchet joints, so they bend at the knees and at the feet. So, for its time, it's a pretty standard action figure. I guess people back then that got the 95 Buzzes would notice the difference that in the movie he had a wrist communicator and the one they had didn't, but this one does. And it's interesting because Thinkway made so many variants of this guy. They made Interstellar Buzz, Stars and Stripes Buzz, Intergalactic Buzz, and a whole lot of these guys in all different schemes of colors, which is interesting. So I guess sometimes you can close the wings on these guys, but then you gotta pull them out manually because of the spring issue. But overall, I mean, it's still really a nice Buzz Lightyear to have. What I did bring for, as far as comparisons go, is I do have a 1995 Buzz Lightyear right here. And I actually had to take the batteries out of this guy to put them in this guy, so I can't have two with working batteries and phrases. But he does work, though. I mean, I tested him and everything. First difference is the face has more color on this one right here. And he doesn't have any head movement, I've noticed. As this guy right here, you can rotate his head. So that's an interesting thing to note. Same thing with the wings, same issue with mine. But he does not have the wrist communicator. He also doesn't have that missile launcher thing on his back. But then again, he didn't have that in the movie either. So the 95 Buzz is more accurate in that sense. The Thinkway logo is in the exact same spot on his back right here. And it's interesting how he didn't... There's a phrase this guy here didn't have.
I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace. I'm stationed up in the Gamma Quadrant in Sector 4.
He does not have that phrase. This guy right here does not have that. That one there does. So they have the retractable helmet. Detail-wise, they're pretty much side by side. You wouldn't really even notice the difference, except for in the face, you'll notice this guy looks a bit more pale. This guy here has a bit more color. And the wrist communicator makes a big difference. I guess for some people, I mean, the Toy Story collection versions always had that. The only other versions I know that have it are the Disney Store Buzz, the Intergalactic Buzz, and this Affinity Edition Buzz Lightyear, which both these guys stand at about 12 inches tall. They're both really nice to display next to each other. I have no issues with that. And I think these make a good collector's item for anybody who was really into the original Toy Story. This is like a piece of nostalgia right here, which is why people ask me, why do you have so many of these guys? And the reason for that is that if I had to collect one character from Toy Story over again, it would be Buzz Lightyear. Especially since there have been more character variations of him ever made than any other character, because I feel like he's also the most toyetic. It's the toy from the movie, the character from the movie that anybody would want to have. Whether you're young or you're old, you definitely want to keep a lookout for these Buzz Lightyears because they're really nice. As far as buying tips go for both of these figures, of course, their prices are range all over the place. They're very expensive new in package. You can get them loose, I should say, for a decent price. The only issue with that is sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they're missing parts like their helmet. Sometimes their wings don't always work. So that's the only thing to watch out for with these guys. Sometimes their stickers are missing. You could find a lot of wingless Buzzes at thrift shops, which is a shame, because if you want a Buzz Lightyear, you're going to want them completed. So being that the Buzz on the right is actually the first Buzz I actually ever got for my collection. The one on the left, it's like as an adult, I'm buying him a second time. So he's definitely worth it. So yeah, this has been my review of the Toy Story Buzz Lightyear Infinity Edition. If you like this video, please leave a like. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of this Buzz Lightyear? Do you think it was worth adding yet another 90s Buzz to my collection, since I have a lot of these guys now? I look forward from hearing from you guys. Thank you all for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the next video review.